I just want to say welcome, CryptoComics Nation, to the interview of Out of Order with Mike and Seol. And Mike and Seol, I'm not sure which one of you would like to go first, but if you would please just kind of do an introduction of both of you, and then kind of tell us a little bit about each one of you.
Okay, so our book is basically it's based on a true story about me and my wife's relationship dealing with a mental illness. And so it's kind of like a slice of life, autobiographical, twisted romance kind of a story. We have like 4 issues out right now. It'll be a 5-issue miniseries once it's finished. And we're working on that 5th issue right now, and it'll be done probably in about May or maybe June at the latest. And so yeah, that's briefly what this comic book is about, and it's our story. It's a story of our life.
Is now the first issue is kind of a compilation of pieces of the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and I'm assuming 5th issue.
Yes, yeah, right.
That was really cool. That was really cool. I really liked how you guys did that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's kind of almost like an outline of the whole story. Yeah, and then in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and 5th issues, we kind of fill in the story more.
Okay. It is based on your guys' life, but something that me and Matt were talking about, and we were both really interested in understanding is in the book, the couple meets at a park. And obviously the guy has visual problems and the woman takes the chance. But in the narrative, or in the narration part, so you talked about knowing Mike before.
Right.
So can you give us some insight into that difference in you guys and the story and things like that?
Yeah, so we actually have a really long history together. So I've known him since I was 9 years old, and we're actually 8 years apart. Yeah, so
we weren't dating then.
at the time. I thought I was 9. Yeah. So we actually met at Mike's church, or Mike's father's church, because he's now a retired pastor, but he was a pastor of a church. So my family started going out to his church, so that's how we met. So I've actually known him for a long time, and I knew him before he had schizophrenia. So I knew him before he was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. And then after he was diagnosed, that's when we actually started dating. So with the comic book, that part of the story is not true, but actually all the kind of like the mental illness and like our fights and things like that are true.
Well, and technically speaking, there is a truth in relation to it, because in the park scene, she knows there's something going on, and you guys didn't start dating until he had already been diagnosed. So I can see the relation of the knowing what you're kind of getting yourself into perspective. Right. Yes, you knew him before. However, you didn't really get that relationship going until after the diagnosis.
Right. Yeah, actually, now that you say that, it's also true that I knew, because I had gone off to college. And so we had lost contact. So I just heard from different people that we knew mutually that something was wrong, but I didn't know that it was schizophrenia. I knew that, like, I had heard that he had isolated himself. He's not going to church anymore. He's kind of just staying home by himself and not doing much. And then so when we started talking to each other, I actually wrote him a letter.
All right.
Yeah, I wrote him a letter. And then that's how we started reconnecting. And so at that time, I didn't know exactly what was wrong. Yeah, and then only when we started really getting into the relationship did I find out that he had paranoid schizophrenia.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So what did you actually go to college for?
Excuse me?
What are you actually? You said you were in college. What were you studying at the time?
Oh, I studied English.
Oh, okay.
She's wanted to become a writer ever since she was very young, and so she went to school for it. Yeah.
So you as the writer and you as the artist, this comic was meant to happen.
Yeah, yeah. He's wanted to become a comic book illustrator since he was young. So, yeah, it was something that was pretty like we hadn't planned on it, but it just worked out.
I think it worked out extraordinarily well.
Thank
I,
you.
I really, I mean, you can feel the as you move through the story, you can feel how the art and the story really work well together. Like I was saying to you guys before, I love the way that that the art is drawn, because the side of the schizophrenia, which I didn't really have a good understanding of when I first read your guys' comic. I thought I understood what schizophrenia was, but I didn't have really an understanding of it or how much it affected people. But when I was reading the story, I could feel how the actual story was somewhat chaotic. You know, things were fractured and not perfectly smooth and really rough around the edges. And so when I saw the art and the way that the story was going, they work so well together. I thought it was excellent in the way that it told the story.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I agree. It's just a brilliant story and just so well drawn. I mean, I just see, for me, coming from an like more of a writer's perspective, I love the story and how real it feels. And then the art just blends so well with that story. So
Oh, thanks.
Thank you so much.
Oh, now I have. Oh,
I'm getting yelled at for not having my webcam on. And
there we go.
Hey, Mike, how you doing, man?
Party.
Hey.
What's up, guys?
Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you. I met your husband. I'm
Yeah.
probably the most annoying person that he's ever met, but that's okay.
No, great guy. Yeah,
How's it going, Mike?
pretty good, pretty good.
Good deal.
So you two are Fry and Mike. You guys met at the Las Vegas convention, right?
Yeah, amazing. Like, walked by his booth, checked out the books, and then I turned into a lawn ornament.
Right? You just stayed there and he wouldn't go away, huh? You
I
guys were
wouldn't.
like,
I wouldn't take no for an answer.
move on.
It's cool, man. It's different than anything I've seen, so I had to. Well, you guys know that now that you've read his books, but
Yeah, really. I was blown away. I mean, there was even parts where like it was bringing me to tears, and I was like, man, it's a comic book. I was
Yeah.
funny, but it was really good. It was really I really like how much you guys put yourselves out there with this to really help people gain an understanding of the hardships associated with this, because you know I see how in totality, even though it's schizophrenia, it's still a reality for someone. It's still a reality for someone, whether it's real or not to all of us. It's still a reality to someone, and so it's an incredible story, and the way you guys have gone through it. So I was going to ask you, and actually I'd written down some questions. Now I get the sense that love is the motivation for your guys' books. Am I correct in that assumption? What is your guys' motivating factors? And you both probably may have different ones, so feel free to both answer.
Do you mean like for creating the comic book or?
Yeah, for creating the comic books and really trying. I mean, it's a five book series, so obviously a lot of thought went into it and things of that nature. So, you know, what again, my interpretation was that the motivating factor was love. But what is your guys' real, you know, insights into that?
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, the comic book happened kind of it was like it was completely unplanned, and Mike had been going out to, or he had started going out to the Sketchbug group, which is like a group of aspiring comic book artists and writers at at our local comic book store. So they were putting together an anthology. So then he wanted to be part of it. So he asked me to write a story for him to draw. So, and then the theme was
like misguided romance, or like messed up romances, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, or dysfunctional romance or something like that. And so I was like, oh, okay, I'll write about us. So so that'll be easy. So I started writing our story, and so I wrote it in like one summer. And then the anthology they never produced it. So then we were like, oh, maybe we should just self-publish it. So that's how we came to create the comic book. But once we actually, released it, it's become this something like bigger than we ever planned it to be. It's, helped us obviously heal through it and meet a lot of people. And it's obviously become like a mental health or mental illness awareness kind of thing too. Because surprisingly, whenever we go to conventions or when we pitch the comic book to anybody, there's so many people who will say that, oh, I know somebody with a mental illness, or I suffer with something. So it's become like a way for us to turn something negative into something positive.
Oh, yes. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So and I can tell from the comic book that it was rough. You guys have been through some really rough stuff. And so how are you guys, how are you guys doing now that you've been able to go through this process, do these really amazing books? You got a fifth one on the way. We're so excited here at CryptoComics Marketplace to have you guys doing that. Yes. But so how are you, like, how have things gone since you guys have put this out there, with your relationship, with just dealing with this illness and things of that nature?
You over?
He has me doing all the talking. I mean, I want to say that like the comic book, creating the comic book and working on the comic book has helped us out a lot, and it has. But honestly, I think it's because we were able to start working on the comic book because Mike started taking the medication consistently. So I think if it weren't for that, we would still be in the same situation that, that are portrayed in the comic books. So he was just.
I actually have a question in relation to that, because I noticed in the book, so he would have his episodes and he wouldn't want the medication because of how the medication affected him. So he would, and I'm already putting myself into the story when I think about it. So he would really be thrashing against that. He would be rebelling against the idea of taking the medication because of what it would do, and that would cause turmoil. But then he would take the medication, and there was turmoil there as well. So like
Right.
It was like he couldn't win.
Yeah.
And I really got that sense in I think it was book 3 or 4 when that really came out, because he's like, I'm gonna commit to taking this medication, and he took it, and then he was doing really good, but the other person kind of forgot what he was going through and why he didn't want to take the medication, so that became the problem. And I was just wondering, is that one of the hardships that you face, is kind of that duality, and that it doesn't seem like you ever do enough, maybe, Mike? Or
Yeah, I think you've hit it right on the head there. That's exactly what it's kind of like. It's like you can't win. It's like the medication is not like, the answer either. It's not like it helps, but it presents its own set of problems just by taking it. It has all these side effects, these bad negative side effects, and it's just a really tough situation. And actually, we didn't mention this in the comic book, but like the long-term side effect of taking this antipsychotic medication is like diabetes. So
Really?
yes, and so it's like you have to make hard choices. It's like that every day. For me, it's like am I gonna take the medication and be a little bit better, but then have all these other things going on, or am I gonna not take it? And you know what I mean? It's totally like that. It's totally rough. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that came across really strong in the story, which was very, very compelling because you really start to feel for this guy because it's like, man, he's trying, but no matter which direction he goes, it's not very fair.
Yeah.
So I started to see that, and I also wanted to mention, guys, I really like the way that you went with the comic book intro into the narrative aspect of giving a more insightful, in-depth, and I'm pretty sure that was from you, Seol, where you're not so much into the comic book side, but you do want to be that storyteller. And I really liked that. That was a really excellent way to really give the story more life, I guess I'd say. Like the pictures are worth 1,000 words, and that was compelling. But then you draw in that narrative at the end, and it really gave you a clear, good, insightful picture to what the story is explaining, if you will, for your guys' situation. It was pretty incredible, actually.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's true that I don't consider myself like a comic book writer. Like I really love graphic novels, but I'm not into like comic books. So it's like even when I go to conventions or like when I'm in that sketchbook group with other writers and artists, when they refer to me as the writer, it always kind of like takes me aback. Oh, I am the writer, or I am a writer, or like comic book writer. Yeah. So
you need to own it, Seol. You need to own it because you totally wrote this, and it's awesome.
It's true. You're one of my favorites, so you have to deal with that name now.
Thank you.
So you don't really resonate with the comic book. I'm just, you brought it up. So when you go to conventions, do you go to conventions often?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I go with Mike, and then I just kind of sit there.
You guys hit a year.
How many?
Yeah, do you think?
Maybe about 5 or 6, 7.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you guys are doing a lot more than I am.
Oh.
Not more than Fry, and probably not more than Matt.
No.
Those guys are con. I probably can't say it.
We don't get to go to that many.
Yeah, sure. Look at his back wall littered with con paraphernalia.
That might be. I'm a fan. You got to be.
He is a fan. He is a
Greg's
fan.
just trying to give me a hard time, Mike, because they're upset that they weren't there and amazing when I found you. So.
Yeah, that's actually
I was pretty
true.
upset.
Yeah, that actually is true.
After meeting you guys, from his hotel or the B&B that you're staying at, and he kept telling me about you guys, and I was like, oh, really? I want to get this in the system. And so finally actually getting to read it, it was, I couldn't put it down. I loved the story, and especially the afterwards. It just gave so much insight into just everything that you were trying to say. So.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, a lot of people do say that. That they say that they like cried reading the afterword, and yeah, so they do mention the afterword a lot.
I think it's a really powerful part of your comic.
Yeah.
I really do.
Definitely.
Which I've never seen before, so it was different at first. I was like, oh, this is different, and I wasn't sure if I was supposed to read it or not. So I started reading it, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to read this. It brings it all together.
Well, and never done nearly this well. I think your writing style and the art style merging together is just fantastic.
No,
It's,
thank you.
Thanks.
you know, it makes the entire story very approachable. It doesn't feel overwhelming until you start getting into it and you start loving the characters, and then it's too late, you know. Then you're a 38-year-old man curled up in the fetal position crying himself to sleep.
Unfortunately, that's totally true.
It's powerful, man.
It pulls at your heartstrings, man.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh. It was crying.
So how far away are we from book 5?
We're right now I'm on page 8 out of 24. So I'm there's about a third of the way through, and we plan to have it out probably in May or June.
Cool.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to be doing any type of Kickstarter or anything like that for it, or?
Well, we've kind of talked about it, and we're still sort of weighing our options. But what we definitely want to do is like color all the books and then like put them together into a trade. Yeah, that's what we.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. Is book 5 going to be the finale then?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So what are your plans after book 5, if there are any?
Yeah.
Oh, so we plan to, like you said, put it into trade. And then after that, I have written his like real kind of like biography. But I don't know if we're gonna nothing is definite right now.
Turn him into a superhero.
He already is.
I thought it would be awesome. Well, so now you're both self-taught in relatively speaking terms, right? You're both self-taught in the comic book arena.
Well, he went to school for illustration.
Oh, okay.
He has a BA in illustration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to understand. I want to give people the chance to understand, what you guys go through when you do a book. Kind of how you guys work together. What kind of handoffs are there? I mean, do you tell him the story, or do you do the story first and then hand it over to him, and then he's got to make the pages fit? Do you guys kind of work together on scenes? Can you give us some insights into that?
Yeah, well, she writes the script, and she wrote the whole story before I started drawing anything, and so I kind of read through it. I thought it was a really good story. I still do. I think the story is better than my art, to be honest with you. But anyway, so like, and then she gives me a lot of freedom. Like I've worked with other writers, and they really some writers they have everything exactly planned in mind. They know exactly what they want for each panel. So so it's kind of like taking notes and like just giving them what they want. But with her, it's just more like, I'm free to do whatever I want. So that's kind of like that's our system. That's what we've been doing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, my script, it's not really that descriptive. Like I have all the dialogue, and then I'll kind of describe what the characters are doing. But I didn't even know. I guess because I'm not a comic book writer, I didn't know that some writers do that. That they will actually like on the script say like this panel they want this, and the next panel. So I wrote it more like a story, and then I just gave him the script, and then
Wow.
yeah.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So basically, if I understand correctly, you set up the narrative, you set the storyline, and then you hand it over to Mike, and Mike you might tell him, hey, they're sitting down at a table, but then Mike is the one that's kind of seeing the facial expressions and the way people are coming across, and that's awesome. That's awesome, because I thought there was a little bit more dictation to the way that each frame was going. Because the frames go so well with the story. Like I said, the art and the story to me really meshed so well together. That's incredible that you guys were that freestyle on it. That's really awesome.
Oh, thank you.
So,
Yeah.
Mike, are you doing the sketching and the ink as well?
Yeah, I am. I'm doing both, and we're kind of debating on who's going to color it because yeah, my coloring skills are just they're not so great, and so it's we're thinking about like hiring this guy we know to color the book for us. Yeah.
Mm.
Anybody we know? Do you want to give a shout out, or are you just still trying to figure it out?
Well, Sable Nance. I'm not sure if you guys know him. He's a Sketchybug guy. He's really good. He's very talented.
Now, Sketchybug is the comic book store that's down the street from you guys.
It's a group that's within the comic book store. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, you
And-
mentioned them in issue 4, right? Like at the end.
At the end, yeah.
Yeah.
With the
Right.
Saddler.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
So when did you get involved with it's Sketchybug, right?
Yes.
When did you get involved with Sketchybug in relation to when you guys started working on this comic? Was it before, after?
Yeah, it was before. So
Okay.
that part of the story is very true. So when he started getting better, he was he was trying to get back into drawing. So that literally happened. So he had drawn something, and then he had gone to Kinko's to make a copy. And then he ran into this guy who was from that group, and then he invited him. He saw his Mike's drawings, and then he invited him out to the group. So he started attending the group, and then that's when he found out about the anthology, and then he asked me to write the story.
Oh wow.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
Really?
there are no accidents.
Yeah. So we're still friends with, like, his real name is Saddler. Yeah. So we're still friends with him. Yeah.
Do you still go to the bug group or the bug sketchbook?
Yes, I still do from time to time. I went there this past Wednesday.
Yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. Yeah.
Fantastic. Did you show them your book in the reader?
Oh, you mean the CryptoComics reader?
Yeah.
We
It
will.
looks fantastic. Hello. Of course.
We definitely will.
I mean, and just so you know, your comic book makes our reader look good. I just want to be clear on that. But it would be fun to show them kind of what you've achieved in relation to being able to display your book, and where you guys are self-publishing it and going to be selling it and things like that. They should be very proud of you guys. That is what the meeting is for, right? Their focus is to help promote independent creators.
Yeah.
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 Give them a shout out for us. They are awesome. Well, I didn't understand this when I first got on into this industry. It was all Hollywood and movies, because that's kind of when the mainstream hit, the Marvel movies and stuff. And I didn't realize what creators in this industry go through. It wasn't until my friend M. Scott Russell there kind of took me through the hardcores of it and showed me the back end of what it takes to actually make a comic book. And it's incredible what you guys go through. It's incredible. It's no small feat what you guys have accomplished.
Yeah.
So don't stop now. I mean, after this 5th one, you guys come out with something even better. I don't know what that could be, though.
Yeah. We'll think about it.
And while Matt's on this picture right now, I just want to say, I love how you're using the pencil marks to show the pain. That's where I really dig your art, because you went with the shadowing effects to really draw in the passion and the pain and the feeling, and throughout the book, I mean, the arching eyebrows, I really dug those things, because I could see the face in your character starting to shift before Soul's writing started to say, oh, what are you doing? Why are you I was like, hey, what's going on with him? It's a little angst. I called it angst, but
Thank you.
yeah, I really was blown away. This was such, and Fry told me I would be. He's like, man, you got to read this, Jared. This is incredible. And I'm like, it's a comic book, man. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is an amazing comic book, man. Because Fry knows his comics. I mean, the guy is a pro. And Matt, they put up with me because I don't know anything. So because in the narrative you were saying how family didn't really know about this. So you guys were making this comic book in secret, kind of, weren't you? In relation to this. Go ahead.
Yeah, at first we were. And the book, it sort of was our way of telling her family that I have schizophrenia.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The book itself was kind of what was used to bridge that communication gap. How
Yeah.
did that go when they read the first issue?
Well, I mean, I didn't want it to come out and then they find out. So so it was mostly my mom, and so because there's a lot of stigma. So before we released the comic book, I told her, like, I had a talk with her, and I told her that this is what the comic book is about. And I think in the Korean culture, they don't really talk about. Not only do they not talk about mental illness, but it's also like they don't believe in it. They know certain things like depression or like just a crazy person, but they don't know like what schizophrenia is or bipolar disorder. So when I try to explain to her what it was, she almost didn't believe me. She was like, "Oh, isn't he just depressed?" So I think even now she doesn't really understand quite what it is.
Has
Yeah.
she read the books?
She has, but she's also not fluent in English.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so there's that language barrier. Yeah.
So in relation to the story in the book, me and Matt were wondering, what inspired the smoking pellets?
Oh, well, see, that's just it's not. How do I describe it?
So I think he's having a hard time explaining it because to him, that's what he still believes happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he is still paranoid. And even though when he takes the medication, a lot of the symptoms are more in control. But he still has the same paranoia.
Okay, so it doesn't actually go away with the medication, just
Not really. Not in my case.
okay.
Yeah.
So he won't do those, like, he won't have those like extreme behaviors. But he still does believe in like all those things that happened. He still believes that they happened.
Okay.
So the smoking pellet is actually is something in relation to real. Like this is an experience that you went through, Mike. Is with the smoking pellet. People were throwing these smoking pellets around you and gassing you with those pellets.
Yeah.
That's actually from okay.
Yeah, to this day, I swear it's something that actually happened. I don't. My family soul doesn't believe me. She thinks it's some kind of psychosis, something that I invented. My brain invented my illness, but I swear it's something that happened, and I don't have any proof. I can't, but it's something that I really believe happened. Yeah.
Okay. Another scene in the comic, I believe it was in the third or fourth issue, where I believe it was your dad was saying you could essentially will yourself out of this. Is that kind of an attitude that people take?
I'm sorry, you kind of broke up.
He asked if that was an attitude that people took with you.
Oh.
Like that you would be able to just will yourself out of this.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was very true of his dad's attitude toward it, and he's also a pastor or a retired pastor now, so he had a lot of uh, like he had the faith that, you know, if Mike has enough faith and if he prays or if he what does he always say, like uh, cast out the demon. Yeah, or if he really wants to, he can get better. Yeah, so I think that's more specific to his father. Um,
Well, and I don't know that that's so specific to his father as to a set of people. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, because taking into account, I'm a firm believer in the four agreements, and within the four agreements, there's something where you shouldn't make assumptions, and the reason why is because when you make assumptions, you create a false reality, right? So the idea that multiple realities exist is a reality. The problem is most people can't relate to that idea. Because in order for society to function properly, everybody needs to be on the same reality, right? You know, we all gotta see and hear and do the same thing. So I think there's some of it is a generational thing. Older people, you know, they don't have like the internet where we have this information of highway. We can learn things so fast, so much, and so when they look at a situation, it's kind of in a narrow tunnel focus, you know, which would probably be why, you know, he comes back to that. Oh, you can fix it if you put your willpower into it, because you know that's my parents have said to me. You know, you could be better. You just got to choose to be better. And it's like, well, peer pressure. Come on now.
yeah, and I think it's just in general, there's a lot of misunderstanding. I think I talked about it in one of the afterwards, but even for me, it's a long time for me to actually understand what he's going through. Yeah, especially because I didn't like I kept it to myself. There's a lot of help out there, but I kept it to myself, so I myself wasn't really educated in it. So I feel like I just learned along the way. So sometimes I would think that too. I would think like, oh, maybe he doesn't want to get better. Like, why doesn't he just take the medication? Like it would be, you know, if he wants to get better, he would just take the medication. So there was a lot of misunderstanding. Even for me.
Yeah.
Pardon me 1 second.
Yeah, and I can definitely, I don't know, I guess speak to the value of the comic that you guys are making, because I learned so much just by going through and reading the comic book, and then, you know, further research afterwards and everything like that. I mean, it really is. It's a cool thing that you guys are doing. You guys are really kind of bringing it out front and center. You're showing what it's like from your experiences, and that's just, it's amazing. It really is. It's really cool to feel like you can pick up a comic book and be inside of someone's life like that.
Thank you.
What are your guys' goals for this project?
Well, ideally, we would like to, once we get the comic book completely finished, we want to shop it to publishers and hopefully try to get it published through like a bigger publisher. We don't want to stay self-published, and so that's kind of like our sort of dream goal for this. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, because I just want to clarify. So is it that you don't want to self-publish, or is it that you just want it a medium to get it out there so that more people can see it? Is the goal to get a publisher? Is the goal to get your book in front of more people?
Yeah, I would say number two. Yeah, more people, more people to bring more awareness, people about schizophrenia, and yeah, so yeah, like have a have as many people read it as possible. Yeah.
Okay. Which is an excellent goal. And And we are so honored to actually be a part of that with you guys, because one of the reasons for this interview is we're definitely going to be showcasing this and encouraging people to read your book, because it does have a really strong message. It has a really great story, and the message delivered in that story is really excellent. I said it best in my hey, go to the comments on the issue, #1 issue. I can't remember exactly how I put it, but it was exactly how I was feeling after I read. But I only did it on issue #1. Scroll down. Yeah, read that. Okay, it was each page pulls you into a chaotic tug of war between love and reality, endurance and the human spirit.
Oh, I haven't seen this.
Yeah, these are the reviews on your book in the system thus far.
Uh-huh.
So these are from people who have read it. I'll be honest, Bug Magnet is me.
Okay.
But that was one of the things that really stuck out to me when I read it. There is this really tug of war between love and reality. The sacrifices that you both make to be in a relationship and deal with this really is an endurance fight, and shows the power of the human spirit in my mind. Like that, those were true statements of how I felt at the end of reading your guys' series, and I'm so looking forward to the #5. I'm really interested to see how this all comes together. And the page he's showing right now. Now, this was interesting. Go back one page, Matt, real quick. See the face of the character. Now, if you scroll down, she asks episodes, and then there was this showcase of the pills and the smoke. But then you see his face, he's like completely like, no problems. But the very next page, he looks like he's got a lot of turmoil. What brought that about from those 2 pages? Because the only thing I could see was that his mom started crying. Was he reacting to the mom crying? Was that why there was that quick shift in his bravado?
Yeah, this is something that actually happened in reality, and yeah, my mom started breaking down, and so my attitude went from, like, oh, I can totally handle this, to, oh my gosh, what's happening now, So yeah, there's a lot of like really painful, emotionally painful stuff going on, and there's a lot of it is very much the truth of what actually happened, and it's kind of drawing from what I remember happening. Yeah.
I got that sense a lot. I was like, I don't know how much of this could actually be made up, because it was so just like my heart was just getting pulled this way and that way all the time, and that's what I was saying about the drawing with the storyline. I was noticing those little changes that were really fast, but it was always with the facial features, and it was always, it was bringing on something, and just very well done. Again, very well done. The way that the story was told, with the depiction into the narration, really beautiful, guys. Really beautiful work.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So I gotta ask, how was it like to draw your life?
It's incredibly breakingly painful. It really is. Yeah, and issue 5, the reason why it's taking so long is because I'm kind of stuck. It's like issue 5 has probably the most heartbreaking one of the most heartbreaking scenes of my entire life in there, and I have to draw this thing, and it's like it's super hard, it's super difficult, super painful, and yeah, so I'm like kind of stalling, like, and kind of like yeah, kind of eating it a little bit, and it's taking me forever to do just one page, and yeah, that's kind of the truth of the situation.
Oh
So-
man, I better get the Kleenex ready.
No, seriously, right? I was just thinking, it's
When
gonna
that
be
book
worse.
comes out, I'm gonna be a mess.
Well, so that's what I'm crying over. Oh, so when you're going through this, uh, do you feel that is the process that does that help you? Is it helping you when you go through that kind of process? Because that's pretty intense. It seems like that's a lot of self-punishment. You're like yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Yeah, there, as Soul was saying, there has been definitely like some kind of healing like factor in making this comic book, like just reliving these things from our past and just how painful our lives have been, and seeing it after just even reading through the comic book after we're done making it, and it just kind of like has kind of like a cathartic sort of effect, I guess you could say, and sort of like a release, I guess. So yeah, it's definitely been really painful, but at the same time, there's like a kind of like a healing kind of component that's been there through it. Yeah.
Hey, just one second. I got to Google what was the word? Cathartic?
Cathartic?
Cathartic. Yes, because I'm not 100%.
Okay.
Cathartic.
At least he's honest about it, guys.
Okay.
You
awesome.
can't
Okay.
false.
So for anybody out there like me, since y'all guys be awesomeness, cathartic, providing psychological relief through the open expression of strong emotions, causing catharsis.
Oh, great. His
Yeah,
brain
now I'm
just
gonna have
broke.
to look up catharsis. You know where this is going. You know where this rabbit hole goes. Come on.
And this is how we lose Jared to Google for 3 days.
But I always forget to ask Google. I was like, hey guys, can you tell me this? They're like, Google it. I'm like, oh, this was a great part. This was right before the smoke bomb started, or the smoking pellets started. The circle of this is the circle of death. Yeah, this was interesting. So the circle of death was a real experience for you, Mike, right? The circle of death was
Yeah.
a real experience for you. You were under that assault for how long?
Maybe for about maybe a little less than an hour. I called my friend to pick me up, and just like in the comic book, like when he came by in his car, they dispersed. They all kind of went away, and so he didn't. I'm not sure whether he saw it or not because he ended up moving to Thailand, and so I haven't really spoken to him much since. And so I don't know whether he actually witnessed it or not, but yeah, that's what happened. And like like it is true that I did get gassed, and just like what we put in the comic book, that I went to the hospital and the doctor took a blood sample, just like we said in the comic book, and he did find traces of some kind of strange gas, in my system. So it wasn't completely in my head. This is what I think. It wasn't completely just all in my head, but I can't convince anyone else of this, and everyone just thinks it's an illness that I have. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, now
So
is this an isolated event? So did this happen one time or multiple times to you?
it happened. It happened twice. Twice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So 70% of everything is mind, right? Does the doctor say that your mind has the ability to draw in some kind of gas reading into a blood test? Is that
No.
possible?
I don't think that's possible actually. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So they took a test and they said that there was something in there, and that was after that episode.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
That would be a little,
So
that'd be a little unnerving.
it's a little unexplained. It's unexplained, and we're not totally sure exactly what the actual truth is. And that's kind of what we wanted to present in the comic book too, is that you're not totally sure what reality is. You know, that's what we kind of wanted to sort of convey through the whole series. Yeah.
They just muted me. They're tired of me talking. Okay.
Nobody's tired of you talking.
Well, that's good.
Not true.
This is getting interesting. This is incredible, guys. This is really an incredible story.
Oh,
and
thank you.
and what we're the point of this is to really flush out the details so because you guys are using this comic book to really explain something that is important to the world, which is awareness. You know, awareness, so people know how to help and deal with people who have to deal with this. And it's not who get to do it, it's have to deal with it from what I understand, from what I've read. So that's what we're digging for right now is trying to shine a light so that we can give people even a more in-depth look at the struggles and the endurance required, the things that people like you go through, you know, which is it's really compelling story. It's an extremely compelling story. See, there's a great example of the way you do your face with the arching eyebrow.
Oh.
That comes in several times in the books, and it's always when that eyebrow starts to arch real high, I'm like, oh, he's about to go somewhere. So I'm just wondering, are the fights real? Like, have you actually like gotten in fights with people at coffee shops and stuff?
Yeah, I have, like, because it's like in my paranoid thoughts, it's like it all goes back to those burning pellets, those, smoking pellets, and those people who were throwing them at me. And part of the problem in my paranoia is that I don't know who they were. Like, they were just total random strangers. And so I became paranoid of every single random stranger for a period of maybe about 15, 14 years there.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it was nightmarishly bad. And so, like, we go to coffee shops, just anywhere I would go and talk to or seeing these strangers around, and in my paranoid thoughts, they could be one of those people, you know. And so, like, yeah, so I got into fights with strangers, and it's something that I'm totally not proud of. And I probably beat up like innocent people, you know what I mean? And it's just like it's really bad. And
allegedly, in case any law enforcement watches this video.
There was nothing really, it was alleged.
It was in research for a comic book. They were all paid actors, as far as anyone here knows.
Researching the character. So I, and I don't know if there is anything, but if you were, what's the best thing you can do if you're around someone and they're getting angst?
From my own personal experience, and just for me, it would be just to kind of just leave me alone, kind of, for a while. Yeah, until I'm able to like calm down and kind of relax.
My wife taught me that. She'd be mad at me, and I'd like run to her side, like, "No, what's wrong with you?" She's like, "Don't get away from me." And I'm like, "No, I can't, leave me alone." And she'd be like, "I'm gonna kick your butt, dude."
Which is funny because when Jared's wife gets mad, we all scatter.
Yeah.
We all run. Whole company. What's really incredible?
I really did get to learn that, that sometimes when something bothers you, you just go on that walk and you're able to just walk it off, work through it. You know what I'm saying? And so you're saying that that's one of the best ways to help with or help someone who's about to go angst on you.
I think so.
Just give them that space. Would it be, you know, if it's different? Like, are the symptoms similar, or does it affect everyone differently?
Yeah, from my understanding, it affects everybody differently. But there's general similarities, but like each person's psychosis or case is a little different from everybody else's. Yeah, so it's kind of that's from my understanding of it. Yeah.
Wow. I should take this opportunity to apologize too, because I honestly had no idea, aside from just reading, I think, half of the first book that I picked up at the convention. And literally after that, I was pretty much writing Mike like a backpack. That poor guy was still super polite. I'm just very happy that you didn't end up beating me up in the middle of a convention.
I don't think I possibly could, Andrew.
I would have been front row seat at that one.
Oh, I was awful too. I was like, okay, you don't know me, but this is what I'm here for, and I just read your book, and I don't care what you say. I have to have it in my system, and you don't understand. This is gonna change everything, and everyone's gonna love it, and I'm gonna put you on everything. And he was just staring at me blankly, like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah. You know what I mean? When he goes fangirl, there's no stopping.
Oh, I went total fangirl too.
Yeah.
It was
and
bad.
That's a level above fanboy, which he tries to always stay at.
I ran over, grabbed Chad Harden from his booth and drug him to Mike's booth because I was like, dude, you have to read this book. And Chad Harden made Harley Quinn, you know what I mean? Like, who is honestly going to grab that guy and be like, no, don't pay attention to anything you're trying to sell. Come look at this.
Well, and I'll tell you what, I can see why. The way, again, the way that you guys have meshed the story, and I think it's because you do have the freedom, Mike, to really dig in, and I hate to put it this way, but I think that pain and anguish, and the things that you have gone through, and the endurance and the love and everything contributes, and that's why your artistry goes so well with the story, because you've got such an intimate connection, and Soul gives you free reign, which total compliments to you, Soul, on that. If you're anything like M. Scott Russell, writers are really like, you do it my way or the highway.
Yeah, Mr. Russell's a little bad about that.
I don't know what you're
So I really want to say props to you on that, because I really think that from hearing the way you guys have talked, I think that's one of your guys' really big keys. You're writing this compelling story and giving details and keeping it really, really engaging. And then Mike is taking that story and adding, like look at how the city's bending around the ambulance,
I love that.
It's an encompassing feeling that his world is now, the whole city is enveloping it, and these are, and look at all the anguish in the face. I mean, that's the
tears.
Really think that's one of the secrets there is because you guys are so freestyle, I guess is the best way to put it. Yeah, I love this book. I really love you guys' series.
It's beautiful, guys. It really is. Like what you guys have done is just, it's beautiful.
No, thank you.
Cool.
Thanks.
And now that you said that it's going to get colored, now I'm upset.
They're selling the black and white copies.
I know, but if somebody ruins this with color, I'm gonna have to track them down. And then they're gonna do a book 6 about how the CryptoComics guy lost his crap on a colorist. It's, you know,
I'm not gonna lie. The color who did the color for you guys' covers?
I did the colors for the covers.
Those look great. What do
Oh,
you
I
mean
didn't
you're
know
not
that.
good at it?
No,
What?
but she doesn't actually like them. Soul doesn't actually like them.
I like the first and second one.
Okay,
But then
wait. Go to the first one, Matt. Let's see. That's number 3. So she says she likes the first and the second one. So there's number 3. Let's look at number 2. Okay, yeah, I really like that first one too because the faces are really okay.
well, now we know that if we do T-shirts, I have to go to Seoul and ask which ones we can use.
Yeah, but third and fourth we struggled with them. And then we were never.
In what fashion? What do you mean you struggled with them? What do you mean in what fashion? The writing or
No, just the
coloring?
colors. Yeah, for the cover.
Go to
Yeah,
number 3, Matt.
because I'm not a really color person either, but I just didn't like it, and then I couldn't really pinpoint what was wrong with it.
Because the one thing I'm noticing between 1, 2, and 3, and we'll see what 4 is, but is your 1 and 2 were a lot lighter, and your 3 is a lot darker.
Yeah.
Your colors are standing out a lot more. Where in the first 2 they're more kind of a pastel-y feel, which is the more lighter, translucent feel, if you will. Where this is a hard, your colors are much more defining in this one. More contrast. They're contrasting more because of their dark depths. What's number 4? The 8 goes back to light, if I'm not mistaken.
Number 4 goes back to gray, yeah.
Yeah, it goes back to that lighter, and it has the shattered glass, which actually looked fantastic, I thought, because I liked how the glass itself had different colors based on the fracturing of the glass, which I thought was really good. So 1, 2, and 4 have the same feel to me, where 3 kind of stands out because the colors were so dark, and that might be because in 3, things really got, things were being set up, things were happening. There was some really intense stuff going on. So I don't know. I really felt like the coloring of your guys' covers were really good.
Oh, thank you.
In that regard. Well, and you definitely want to do what makes you guys feel comfortable, what makes you feel right. But again, this is just my 2 cents. I thought that the colors on your guys' covers were good.
Yeah.
Who's rooming?
So if I was gonna do shirts, which cover would you guys want?
Maybe the first
number
issue.
1. I want first issue. That would be the most bombest shirt.
I have to go switch up the laundry.
No problem. No problems.
The laundry room closes. Sorry. I'll be back.
No worries. Yeah, we need to do that. I mean, to give them away, not because I want a number 1 shirt that badly.
That would look. I would want one of those too. Seriously.
Oh yeah.
That's one of my favoriteest pictures is those 2 faces. That again, I really love the way. See, I think the way you tell the paint. Like for instance, if you look at the left side, and the faces are clear, but then you show him really good, like you start to see the lines, and those lines are really what draw out the emotions in the face. In your sketches, I think they look fantastic.
Have you seen what we do with the shirts, Mike?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so one of the marketing tactics we do, yeah, he's wearing one right now.
Nice.
Is when we go to conventions and we have a booth, normally what we'll do is we'll make a few hundred T-shirts of our creators' books. We usually put some book covers on the front and whatnot, and like your URL on the back. And then what we do is instead of selling anything, we just run out, and all the people that are waiting in line, we just bombard them with shirts.
Oh, okay, cool.
So then all over the convention, you'll see Out of Order all over people's shirts and stuff. It's pretty cool. It's a heck of a lot of fun. We have a great time doing it.
Yeah, as long as I get one, I'm cool with it.
Well, Jared always steals them.
Darn right. Darn right.
He doesn't realize that I make enough for our team to also have them, so we just let him think that he's getting away with something. But
Well, don't tell him now.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
well, Kev.
So Mike, are you gonna? So do you want to expand after this series? Like, are you thinking of continuing on in the industry? What are your long-term goals?
Well, right now I'm working with a friend on this other book, and after it's called Bleak Harvest. It's kind of like a comedy, like a sci-fi apocalyptic comedy sort of.
Right on.
The
Yeah.
art's pretty cool. He shared some of his art on Facebook for it. That stuff's pretty cool.
Oh, thanks.
Really?
Thanks. Andrew. Yeah, and after that, there's no plans. Once we finish Out of Order, like we're hoping it gets picked up or something like that happens. If that doesn't happen, then we're thinking about actually stopping maybe, but we're not totally sure. And so that's kind of that's what we're thinking.
So when you say stopping, then you're just thinking you might just end on a high note with a five book series.
Yeah.
But then this other comedy sci-fi has the potential to roll out. So is your friend a writer, or is Soul doing some writing on that?
No, it's he's a writer. His name is Joe, and he's actually really good. He's a very good writer, in my opinion. And so yeah, that's what we're doing.
Is he giving you free reign, or is he dictating your panels?
He's very much controlling. Like, yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have a word with him.
He knows exactly what he wants. Put it that way. Yeah.
There's probably nice things about that. I'm
Yeah.
not 100% sure, but having somebody kind of tell you exactly what they want, it seems like it would be a little bit easier than having to come up with it on your own.
Yeah, you're totally right. I agree with you there 100%. Yeah, you don't have to think so hard. You don't have to come up with stuff yourself. You just kind of, okay, that's what he wants there, that's what he wants here, and you're just drawing it. So it's not that bad.
How many pages have you guys done?
For Bleak Harvest, about 6 now, but he's projecting it to be 34 pages total.
Oh, cool. That's
What about
cool.
conventions? What do you have coming up for that?
Actually, Andrew, I probably will go to Vegas Con this year again.
Yeah. Which one? Are you going to go to the one next weekend? Because I'll be there then.
Level Up?
Oh, next week? No, the one in June.
Oh, Amazing?
Amazing Vegas, yeah.
I'll be
That's
there.
where you guys first met, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
You're going to have to bring more books
That
this
would be
time.
a good one.
I don't know if Jared, if I told you and Matt that. So when we were there, I think it was just the second day of the convention that you sold out, wasn't it, Mike?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we sold out.
Really?
Yeah.
He sold out of books.
Are
Like
you
entirely.
selling? Are you guys doing the traditional $10 a book?
$5 for each issue.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Wow. Dang, how many did you sell out?
I don't know how many was that.
I was up there.
Probably around 50 to 100. I'm not totally sure.
Oh, fantastic. That's great.
So
So do you get good? So is conventions the only way that you sell your book right now?
We have an online website, but to be honest with you guys, we don't sell very many through it. Yeah, and
What is that website?
it's www.mikeandseolcomics.bigcartel.com.
Say that one more time.
It's right there. Yeah, it's right there
Oh,
on
thank you.
Go ahead and pull that up so that we can show their site too. That way, if anybody watches the video of this interview afterwards, they can go and check it out.
Great idea. Great
They
idea.
can buy physical versions there. Get your digital versions at CryptoComics, but
Get your physical versions at their
Buy
website
physical.
because those things are going to be worth some money when you got the digital version too.
and if you throw in a big fat tip and you told them that Bry sent you, then Mike might sign the book for you.
Here we go.
All right, fantastic. And they can buy all 4 books here.
Yes, they can.
Fantastic. And we encourage everyone to go get your out of order copies because they're going to be out of inventory sooner than later. Oh, this is fantastic. So now go ahead. Go ahead, Brian.
So I bought all the books that he had, and then I showed them to Joe. Joe's actually another one of our business partners. Joe went over and bought him his, and that guy buys a lot of books. I mean, like I'm real bad at conventions, but he's out there.
Excuse me. Issue number 1. Yeah, that's true. It's unlike any other comic book you're ever going to read.
I love how you guys put "it'll break and lift your heart" at the same time. This is such an understatement with your guys' comics.
Yeah, dude. You don't know what you're getting into when you look at that first cover. You're just thinking to yourself, out of order, and 2 people who what are they sad? And then you go into it and you're like, oh, they're sad. It's incredible. It's an incredible journey you guys are going through.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for allowing us the ability to actually have an insight into it.
Oh no. Yeah, thank you guys so much for giving us this opportunity to, present our work through your guys' site, and for all it's obvious that you guys have read through the books and thought about it a lot and stuff, and it kind of touches the heart for real. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I feel like I'm the one that should be thanking you. You get to read a lot of comic books and stuff, and a lot of them have pretty good stories, and they're fun to read, and there's heroes and stuff going on. But it's not every day that you get to pick up a comic book that the comic medium of communication is going to transfer so clearly just a supreme message. And your guys' message is one of love and patience and endurance and just the human spirit fighting on, and that's a beautiful thing. Encouraging humans. I'm pro-humanity, and you guys are doing something that is pro-humanity, and so it resonates with me on a very primal level. Like, it's very awesome to see, and I have no doubts just from going through the story and how just it was ripping me to and fro with my emotions that the things you guys go through to bring this to us. I mean, that in and of itself, it's like you said, when you go and you create a page and you're putting so much into it, and you have to kind of almost even relive that experience to really put that onto the page in the illustration. It's just, that's why I say that, we're the ones that should be thanking you guys, because you guys are really bringing something to the industry that is passionate, that communicates something very clearly. Again, I think it's a great way that you 2 work together, allowing each other freedom. Just these books are well done. These books are well done, and we will be telling people, everybody we can, that you guys have a great story, and people should take the time to enjoy it, because it is a story that people are going to be able to enjoy and walk away from a better person.
And it's an experience. I mean, you can't read one of these books and not, lay your tablet down and just realize that you just had an experience. I mean, it's pretty deep for being a comic book. It's really just incredible.
That's awesome right there. That's Torment.
Yeah, that's that picture right there, where there's all that blood flying. That was this dream that I kept having, and so I just drew the dream, and that's
Wow.
Book. So again, thank you guys so much for trusting in us and uploading your books into the system. I already promised Mike 1,000 times before you guys ever even signed up, I will do everything in my power to ensure that this thing is, doing extremely well. Like I said, this is one of the best comics that I've ever read, easily. Especially considering, like I said, I'm a 38-year-old man and I look like a 14-year-old girl watching The Notebook after I read these things every time. It's just extremely moving, and I think that I can honestly tell you, this is one of those comic books that as soon as I came across it, and even more so after meeting Mike, I know that you guys are going to do extremely well with this. So I'm just thanking you for letting us kind of be a part of that, in this small way. Because seriously, I think for every person that reads this book, they're going to tell 5 more, and it's going to become a wildfire, I think, before you guys even realize it.
Well, and just to give you some reassurance on kind of what Fry's getting at, one nice thing, we encourage everyone, sell your book wherever you can, because we want you to optimize your channels and make money doing what you love to do. The real great thing about the CryptoComics marketplace, where you guys are self-publishing right now, once it gets to live transaction, is the ability for you to reach around the world. No, but seriously, guys, the cool thing is you guys are involved in something, and it's cool because you guys stepped out into something, took risks, stepped out into something and did something, took a chance, and I think it was a success. My own personal opinion, my 2 cents, worth less than 2 cents. But the marketplace that you're involved in, that's one of the great things about where you guys are sitting right now, because you took a chance and then you took another chance, probably even a more riskier chance, and putting your books in our marketplace. But because of that chance, things are going to really get moving pretty soon. You guys are going to be surprised. This marketplace is just incredible when it comes to being able to benefit creators, because not only are you going to be able to sell your books just like traditionally it happens, but others are going to be able to sell your books. So it's no longer going to be just you guys trying to sell your books, because now everybody's going to be able to play in that game, from comic book stores to fans to crypto investors to crypto miners. I mean, there is a lot of people who are going to be the buyers in this marketplace, and it's a larger target market than a normal comic book market would be, because of how we are in the blockchain space, which is really phenomenal. And so I really think your guys' comic is going to do very well, very well. It really does. It's just really good. The way that you guys do it is so good.
And not only that, a lot of those, the crypto investor markets and those guys, I think when they come across a book like this, it really kind of goes back to what you were saying, Mike, about just more people being able to read about, schizophrenia and mental illness and I mean, I can tell you from my experience when I read your book, it's like a kick to the chest. I mean, you don't realize how moving it's going to be until you're sitting there reading it. And you know what I mean? It's the nice thing about CryptoComics is we will be able to reach out to demographics that would never be at a comic convention and find you. You know, and I think that's one of the coolest things, because we really did build CryptoComics because we are fans, and you know what I mean, we did want to create an environment where anyone can get their message out and get their books out. And this is just, I don't know, I kind of feel like it's a perfect message, you know, for us to prove that we can do that.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Yeah, it's so funny. Like, I keep looking at it and I'm just like, man, this is so fresh and so new, and we're so fresh and so new, and we get the honor to be able to have this comic in our marketplace. It's so awesome. Out of Order is awesome.
Oh, thanks.
So yeah.
Don't know what to say.
Yeah, we're glad to be part of this.
So are you guys both going to be at Amazing then?
I'm not sure about myself. Yeah.
You have to. That way I can meet you.
Yeah, last year, because I'm a school teacher,
Mm-hmm.
so I
What
was
do you
still
teach?
English,
Oh,
great.
Makes sense. Okay.
6th grade.
Oh,
Yeah, middle.
you are awesome. I've got a 4th grader right now, and I've got one in 6th grade and one in 7th grade. So you are awesome. You are awesome.
Do those kids know that you're one of my favorite comic writers? I
Do
feel
they
like
even
should.
know you're a comic writer?
Some of them do. Like I've told them, that we have I created a comic book with my husband. Yeah, but not all of them do. Yeah.
Check this out. This is real hush hush, but we are making this so that kids will be able to participate in the comic book section. Like, we're going to really try and make it so that schools can adopt the marketplace and use it so that kids can learn how to make comic books and put out their comic books and stuff like that. This is a phase like 10 down the road, but so it's really cool. And it is awesome that you're sharing that with your kids, that, you know, you're in this field, because there's a lot of kids that, you know, our friend Joe that Fry was talking about, he has a really, really cool story in relation to what comics did for him to help him learn how to read and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So comics in the schools, I think, is just a great thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kids love like graphic novels, and there's so many nowadays too.
Say that again. Your voice checked out.
Oh, the graphic novels?
Uh-huh.
Like it's becoming really popular. Yeah, so kids really love it. Yeah.
Well, as long as school doesn't interfere, then I get to take you guys out to dinner.
Wait a minute. She teaches school. I just realized that. She's out for the summer during Amazing.
Yeah,
That's true. If 5 isn't out yet by then, neither of you guys had better be in Nevada. That's all I'm saying. You'd better be working on getting book 5 for me.
Okay.
That is I am really interested to see book 5. I'm not gonna lie. I was you know, when you run into that wall and you just want to climb over it, that's what it was like when I hit the end of number 4. I was like, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm left on a cliffhanger.
Oh.
And really what kind of drove that in was the first book. So what was the inspiration for doing the first book the way you guys did it?
I don't know. I just started writing it and I didn't outline it or anything. So it's just It's just something like when I sat down and started writing it, that's just what I wrote. I'm a complete like pantser. I don't know if you guys know that term.
Pantser?
Right? Like I don't have anything planned. I just write to me. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was unplanned. Yeah. The idea just came to me as I wrote more and more that I'm gonna incorporate like at least one scene from the first issue in the following issues.
So you knew which. Well, that's the thing though. So how were you able to pull scenes out of book 2 and book 3 to put in the first books? Did you guys get through? And what scene of book 5 is in the first book?
There's two scenes from book 1 in book 5.
Oh, okay.
One where we meet at the park, right?
Yeah.
What's the other one?
The other one is talking to the psychiatrist for the first time.
Oh.
Yeah.
So book 5 is going back to origin.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Oh.
Okay, don't ask any more questions.
Oh, spoiler alert! Spoiler
This is gonna
alert!
bother me now, please. Don't ask any more questions about book 5.
I'm sorry,
I don't want to know.
I'm sorry about that, man. I just. Woo! Luckily, you weren't on when they showed us which pictures were for book 5. We know now. Me and
I've
Matt
seen
know more
some of the
than you.
pictures on his Facebook, and I get excited every time. But it doesn't have dialogue in his pictures.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just left to guess. You're just trying to steamroll out any flipping sense of urgency I've got.
I'm sorry, Fry. I'm sorry. I didn't take your feelings into consideration there.
I know.
I'm sorry.
Jeez. Sorry,
It
guys.
works.
I'm sure you want to talk about book 5. I can mute myself.
Just exit stage left.
I'll just shut off my webcam and go and cry in the corner some more.
And you know what's the sad part? He has to edit this, so he's gonna see it anyways.
That's cruel.
I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? I was just thinking it.
That's me. You see what I have to deal with, Mike? Now do you understand why I damn near started camping at your table?
This is why he runs away to Comic-Cons. He doesn't like to talk to me.
You guys are great.
We're also going to be down in LA for AnimeCon. Aren't you guys are from the LA area? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you in LA or?
We're
LA County. We're in the
Okay.
South Bay. Yeah.
So are you guys going to the con that he's talking about?
Which one is it?
The AnimeCon.
Oh,
I'll be down
yeah.
with that.
No, we're not going there.
Yeah, we heard it was really big, but we haven't been.
Mm-hmm.
It probably is. Anime is getting extremely popular. Like really popular, especially with Netflix and stuff now.
Yeah.
It might be a good con for you guys where it's right in your neighborhood and it's big, which means that lots of people. And that's
Yeah.
the numbers are what do it, man. If you want to do sales, just remember you're looking for yeses in a sea of no's.
Totally.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
This is
I don't know
this is
about
the best,
that.
This
They
is the
just
best
end up with
advice I
somebody
can
like
give to
me
people
dragging
trying to
people.
sell. Just remember, take the pendulum and push it as far into the nose as you possibly can, and it'll swing back into the yeses.
Don't listen to him. Just let people find your book. They're gonna buy it. I promise. You guys have the easiest job known to man now. You have an awesome comic book.
Oh, no, thank you.
It is pretty awesome. It is pretty awesome.
Thank you.
So with the beginning of this story, you know, why did you start it out where you did with the park? I was interested in knowing that because I figured that wasn't the legit. What was the idea there?
I don't know.
Can-
Well,
Wait, can you excuse me for a second?
oh,
I
Yeah, no
have
problem.
Okay, sorry.
I think with the park, because Mike would say that he would tell me that he would go to, like, there's a marsh near his parents' house, so he would go there like to escape when he would get really paranoid. Or he was also really paranoid of his dad, so he would often not like being in the house. So there was like a walking distance marsh. So he would go there. And then I think that's where I got the idea from. Like the idea of him and the fact that he was barefoot, that was actually true. Like it's a story he told me that he had to throw away his shoes because his father had gotten them for him, and then he was with his dad. Yeah, I think like there are certain like pictures in my mind that stick, and then I think that's what I used in the stories a lot. Yeah, like the stories he told me, and then they stuck with me.
Oh, that's incredible. I am a little surprised at how much truth is in the story. Like I didn't think the smoke pellets were real. Like I thought that was a fictional part.
Yeah,
That's why I asked about it. Then he started like, "Oh no, that really happened." And I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute, what?"
Yeah,
That was not
I
the
think
part.
all the craziest parts of the story are actually true,
Yeah.
and like the fictionalized parts are actually just like how we met.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering, but man, both me and Matt were just itching to know. This is truly a compelling story.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Well, we've been going about 2 hours. How are you guys feeling?
We're good. We just have to go get the laundry in like 15 minutes.
Well, so Mike had to jump for a minute, guys. But if you want, just think of any last questions you want to run by, then we won't keep them all night.
I can't think of any questions. All I wanted to say was thank you for trusting us with your life story. It's such a honor.
Oh, thank you. So, yeah, we're really glad to be part of this.
Well, we'll make sure it stays that way.
They'll keep you away from me.
No.
But if you'd like his address, you can send him a dictionary. I'll give it to you.
I have Google, dude. You don't need to send me nothing. I got Google. Me and Alexa go way back. Oh wait, that's Amazon, huh?
So I'm going to bring my copies of the books down with me to Amazing so that you can sign them as well, because I only got Mike to sign them.
Oh, so amazing. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that means you have to go.
And I'll be going with him this year, so.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I should have never brought up that it was during the summer, huh?
I've been hitting Mike up like the last 4 weeks. Are you going to be at Amazing this year? Hey, Mike. Mike, are you going to be there? What's up, man? He's like, Fry, I don't know. Why are you in my bushes again?
It's fine, Andrew.
Well, thank you guys so much for your time. Is there any parting words that you guys would like to leave with us?
Go for it.
Yeah, just thank you so much, yeah, for all your kind words, because we have a lot of doubts actually about our work. And Mike is very hard on himself when it comes to his drawings. And like we're not professionals, so we have a lot of doubts, but it's really encouraging to hear that like you guys like the comic book and that you guys like really felt like the emotions from it, and also that you learned about schizophrenia like mental illness through the comic books, because that's what we really want to do through the comic book. So it's really encouraging to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, really. Yeah.
Yeah, and anybody that watches this video after the fact, make sure you guys seek them out. Matt, if you could go to that last page real quick, so where the URLs are showing, we'll blow that up really quick, or I'll also put this on the video as well. But make sure you guys find them. Looks like we've got Instagram, we've got, I believe you guys also have a Twitter, right?
We just started a Twitter account, yeah.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll make sure to put, links to all those things, so anybody that watches the video that wants to follow you guys and learn more and keep up on book 5, because I know they're going to be as excited as I am for it. If I can generate a small army behind me, maybe we can get it a little bit quicker.
Hint, hint, Mike. Hint, hint.
But yeah, and then thank you guys. As Matt was just saying, as Jared was saying, as I was saying earlier, really thank you guys for trusting us with your story. It's not only an honor, like M. Scott there was saying, but it's profoundly eye-opening. And I know personally it makes me feel like, our company is going to be able to help someone else change the world. And I think that's just the coolest thing ever. So thank you. Thank you for giving us that opportunity.